Ever feel like, the digital world is kind of like the Wild West,
Yeah.
full of hidden dangers just waiting to trap you?
Right.
Yeah, that's where ICT security technicians come in. They're the sheriffs,
Yeah.
protecting everyone and keeping our data safe from those black hat hackers.
hmm
So today we're going to do a deep dive with RoleCatcher and figure out how to wear that badge.
Yeah, it's interesting because, it's not just about being like a tech whiz,
Right.
although you'll definitely need those skills. Rollcatcher really emphasizes strategy too.
Uh-huh.
Like you have to anticipate those threats way before they even become a problem.
Yeah. It's like that saying, the best defense is a good offense.
Exactly.
If you're already thinking ahead like a grandmaster,
Mm-hmm.
your digital kingdom is going to be much safer.
Yeah, and the best part is Rollcatcher explains it in a way that makes sense even if you're just starting out. They break down all the key responsibilities.
Okay.
And honestly, it's eye-opening to see like how much this role really does.
So it's more than just locking down systems and hoping nothing bad happens.
Oh yeah, definitely. For example, they talk about proposing and implementing security updates.
Yeah.
So you're constantly reinforcing your defenses.
Okay.
But then there's this whole other side of it too. Like what about advising your colleagues on best practices?
Right.
You might be the one training your team on how to spot a phishing email before it like blows up the whole company.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy how important that human element is. We've all clicked on something we shouldn't have.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you have the best tech in place,
hmm
human error can still be a weak link.
Absolutely. And then, of course, there's the whole incident response side. And Rollcatcher doesn't sugarcoat it either. They talk about the stress and the long hours, especially when something critical goes down. You need to be on your toes, ready to jump into action.
So this isn't for someone who gets stressed easily.
Right.
But then again, I imagine protecting the digital world attracts a certain kind of person,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
someone who enjoys a challenge.
Definitely. But those challenges, they come with some amazing rewards.
Okay.
Rollcatcher talks about the high demand for skilled professionals and the competitive salaries because in this field, you are essential and you have constant learning and growth opportunities.
Yeah, it's like being a lifelong student.
Mm-hmm.
Except your classroom is the entire world of cybersecurity. You're always learning new techniques, exploring the latest technology.
Exactly. And that's where Rollcatcher's insights into like career progression are really valuable. They have a whole section about getting started and it's packed with advice for anyone just dipping their toes into cybersecurity.
Okay, so say you're intrigued by all of this.
Yeah.
This ICT security technician gig, it's speaking to you. What's step one?
Well, Rollcatcher really stresses hands-on experience. They suggest internships, part-time jobs, even volunteering for organizations to help them with their cybersecurity. Think of it like you're building your portfolio,
Okay.
proving to employers that you can back up what you say.
That's a good point because it's one thing to read about configuring firewalls or conducting vulnerability assessments, but it's a whole other thing when you're actually doing it,
Exactly.
even in a practice environment.
You got it. In fact, they even suggest setting up some practice projects of your own. Like, what if you try to hack into your own home network? Ethically, of course.
Right.
Just to see if you can find those vulnerabilities. That would stand out on a resume.
That's brilliant. It shows initiative, and it gives you something concrete to talk about during an interview.
Exactly.
Speaking of interviews, RoleCatcher has some really fascinating insights into how that whole process is changing, especially with all of the AI in hiring.
Yeah, they're very upfront about the fact that more and more companies are relying on algorithms to sort through applications.
So it's not even enough to be qualified anymore. You have to make sure your qualifications are presented in a way that these algorithms can pick up on it. It's like a whole new language.
Exactly. And that's where Rollcatcher's tools come in. They've really embraced this AI-powered approach to job hunting, and it's honestly pretty impressive.
Okay, now you have to tell me more about these tools and how they can help navigate this whole world of AI recruiters.
Well, they have this thing called job spec analysis, and it's basically like a secret decoder ring for job descriptions. It like analyzes the whole thing and tells you exactly what the hiring manager wants.
Okay.
Like it reads their mind and pulls out those keywords you need, the
Right.
skills, the experience, everything.
So you're not just, throwing things at the wall and hoping they stick.
Right.
You're using AI to make sure it's a perfect match. That's kind of wild when you think about it.
It really is. And it gets better. They score your resume based on how well it aligns with what they're looking for.
Oh, wow.
It's like a compatibility score, but for your career.
So you can actually see like which version of your resume with which keywords is going to be best.
Exactly.
And that's how you get past the AI gatekeepers to a real person.
Yes. And speaking of game changers, you know that library of interview questions we talked about?
Yeah, like 120,000 of them, right? It's like a cheat sheet for your career.
Right. Well, they've added AI into that too. You can record yourself answering the questions,
Uh-huh.
and it'll give you feedback on how you did.
What, really?
Yeah, like how clear you were, your tone of voice, even your body language.
Wait, hold on. It can tell how your body language is through a recording.
I know it sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but somehow they figured it out. It's like having a career coach right there with you.
So it's not even just what you say anymore, it's how you say it.
Exactly. And the feedback is tailored to the specific company and what their culture is like. RoleCatcher has done the research, so you don't have to.
So you walk into that interview feeling totally prepared for anything.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, and remember that RoleCatcher.capture plugin, the one for saving jobs.
Oh, yeah, like a digital lasso? What about it?
Well, it actually connects with everything else on RoleCatcher.
Okay, so you find a job, you lasso it, and then what?
Then it's like you've activated their whole system.
Wow.
It pulls the job description in so you can use the analysis tool to see how well you match up.
So you can tailor your application perfectly before you even apply.
Exactly. And then you can practice your interview answers with their AI, all without leaving RoleCatcher. It's like a one-stop shop for your career.
Okay, that's really impressive. It's like having a personal assistant helping you through every single step.
It is, and you can stay organized and focused throughout the entire thing.
Which is super important in a competitive field like cybersecurity.
Definitely. And we've talked a lot about like the technical parts of this.
Yeah.
But there's this other side to RoleCatcher that I find really interesting.
Oh, what's that?
This focus on like the bigger picture of your career.
Okay, so not just getting a job right now.
Right. It's about the long term. They get that a career isn't always just going straight up the ladder. Sometimes you need to explore and try new things and find out what you really want.
I love that because it's so easy to get lost in just applying for job after job after job
Right.
that we forget to think about where we want to be years from now.
Yeah, and they have this career compass thing. It helps you figure out your long-term goals.
Okay.
And then gives you steps to take right now to make it happen.
So it's like a GPS, but for your career, guiding you to those dream opportunities.
Exactly. So say you want to be an ethical hacker, but you don't know where to begin. Career Compass will show you certifications, courses, even organizations to join. It helps you build your own path.
That's incredible. It's like they're saying, we know you don't just want a job, you want a career that you love. Let's work together to make that happen.
Yes. And another thing they're great at is company culture.
Oh, yeah, because it's one thing to read their website and mission statement,
Mm-hmm.
but it's different actually knowing what it's like to work there.
Totally. They have this huge database of companies, and they've gathered so much info about what it's actually like to work at each one, like their work-life balance, their approach to cybersecurity, that kind of thing.
It's like seeing into the future. No more going in blind to an interview.
Exactly. And honestly, in cybersecurity company, culture is huge.
Yeah, you want to be somewhere that respects you and your skills.
Right. And that's another thing that makes RoleCatcher different. They're not just trying to put you in any job they want you. Find a company where you'll thrive.
So it's more than just a job site.
Yeah.
It's a whole career development platform.
They really have thought of everything. And they keep adding new stuff all the time.
That's great.
But honestly, I think the best thing they offer is empowerment.
What do you mean?
Well, in the past, job hunting could be really discouraging, sending out resumes and hoping for the best. But RoleCatcher changes that. They give you the tools to take control.
That's awesome. So you're not begging for a job. You're confidently showing companies what you've got.
Yes. And with their insights, you can stand out, ace the interview, and get that dream job.
Wow, we've covered so much here today.
Yes.
From tiny details to big picture stuff. But I do have one more question. You've made RoleCatcher sound amazing.
Right.
Like this all-in-one career thing.
Yeah.
But what about the actual ICT Security Technician part?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about, getting a job, skills, all that.
Right.
But what does the work itself actually look like?
Well, that's the thing about RoleCatcher. They cover it all. They
Yep.
go beyond just the job title and actually tell you what it's like to be an ICT security technician.
Okay, so what is it like?
Well, they talk about how much variety there is in the work. Like one day you might be combing through network traffic logs,
Okay.
looking for anything suspicious. And then the next day you could be training people on password security.
Oh, wow.
Or setting up a new firewall.
So it's not all just, sitting alone and staring at code all day.
Well, you'll do some of that.
Okay.
But they really emphasize the teamwork involved. You're always talking to different teams like the software developers and management and explaining complicated security stuff in a way that they can understand.
So you need to be a good communicator.
Absolutely. You're like a translator. Sometimes even a therapist, helping people with their tech anxiety.
That's pretty cool. It's kind of like being a detective,
Yeah,
except instead of solving crimes, you're stopping them before they even happen.
exactly. And that comes with a lot of responsibility, right?
Yeah,
You're protecting a company's most important stuff.
that must feel good knowing you're making a difference.
It does. But RoleCatcher is honest about the challenges too.
Okay, like what?
This field is constantly changing. New threats pop up every single day, so you always have to be learning and adapting.
Like a game of cat and mouse.
Yeah. But that's also what makes it fun.
Right.
You're on the front lines using your skills to protect people.
It does sound kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Like a superhero.
Totally. And speaking of heroes, RoleCatcher also talks about ethical hackers.
Oh yeah, the good guys.
Exactly. The ones who use their skills to help people find vulnerabilities.
So you can actually have a job as an ethical hacker.
Yeah, companies are hiring them more and more these days
Wow.
to basically try and break into their systems
Okay.
and find any weaknesses before the bad guys do.
So they're like the bank robber who went straight.
Right. And RoleCatcher can help you get into that line of work if you're interested.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It seems like RoleCatcher knows everything that's going on in this industry.
They really do. But more importantly, they offer guidance.
What do you mean?
Well, cybersecurity can be overwhelming, especially when you're first starting out. There's so much to learn and so many directions you can go.
Right.
It's easy to get lost. But RoleCatcher, they give you a map.
That's a great way to put it.
They help you find a path that works for you.
So they're not just helping you find any job. They want you to find a job that you're passionate about.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, I think that's a good place to end it for today.
I agree.
If you want to take control of your future, head over to RoleCatcher.com. You might be surprised at what you find. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep on learning.